Hey everybody, I am John Barker, and in this episode of On Location, we are in Copenhagen for a two-source meetup. Now obviously I'm not there right now, because it was a quick job. I got in, I got out, and I managed to just get a few shots of B-roll. So let's take a look at them now. So here's a look at the venue itself. I'm just going to skim through this footage and you can take a look. I was set up on the side here, and you can see there I have my Canon XA11 all set up on the tripod. And then below that is a table with a few bits of gear that we'll take a look at in a few minutes. And yeah, there's a nice close-up look of the setup. Here's a closer look at the XA11, and I'm just showing you that it's kind of used for a wide shot and a close shot for this gig. I did want to use one camera, so whenever I needed it as a wide shot, I used it as that, and then I also cut in tight for the presenter's close shot. And on the top of it, you can see there my Saramonics receiver unit. That's what I used to mic the speaker. I just ran with one pack so I could change between breaks to each speaker. It made things pretty easy to use. And then here's a better look at the table of all the gear on it. You can see here I have a few bits and pieces, and I'll take a closer look at them right now. I'm swooshing in, there we go, to the web presenter. So this is kind of the main unit that I used for the gig. It switched between my two sources, which was my camera, which is on source number 2 there, and then source number 1 was the presenter's laptop. And as the show went on, I just sort of did a fade between each one, and that way I could, get a wide shot, I could fade to the presenter's notes, and then I could get a close shot before I faded back again. Over here you can see that I have two screens set up. This one is the video assist, and it's recording a backup of the presenter's notes. So I'm going to get to it in a minute, and I'll show you a full breakdown of all the setup, but this is sort of a backup of the presenter's notes, and I was just recording that onto SD card. And then you can see above that I have my Ninja 5, which was recording the actual program output from the web presenter. So that was my main program output, and that was just a recording of the whole show so that I could deliver the videos edited after the fact. Then we'll head over to the laptop, which was running, if you can just about see it there, it was running what's called Zoom, and it's kind of like Skype. Businesses use it a lot for webinars, and that's what we had here. We had people watching live within the webinar, and then there was people in the room as well watching. So I was able to deliver a sort of webinar experience as well. That's why I needed the web presenter on site with me. Otherwise I could have just edited between the cameras afterwards, but in this case I really needed a way of getting that signal into Zoom. Now I didn't bring the full ATEM setup on this gig because I did want to use those two sources, and it seemed like bringing everything with me was a bit overkill, so that's why I went for the web presenter. And just to continue, we're taking a look at the back of the web presenter. You can see the ins and outs there, but I will give you a better look at that in a few seconds. So now we're up at the front where the presenter was positioned. Here you can see their laptop and the projector feed. And I'm just showing you there that the HDMI comes out of the laptop and runs under the table into the decimator, which was doing some work on the day. Basically I have it coming into the decimator, and then it kind of splits back out again with this red HDMI cable. And that HDMI cable goes into the projection system in the room. And then back to the decimator, you can see there that I am scaling the output and sending it off this green SDI cable to my position. And then here I'm just kind of walking you along the room. You can see there the SDI green cable and my Ethernet cable for wired internet, and it runs down to where I am in that little slightly messy corner with all the gear. Like I said, I didn't have much time to get a lot of shots, so I just thought I'd give you a detailed look at the setup that I used. So here's all the gear. I have three kind of categories: presentation, video, and audio, I guess I should say, and then the streaming part, or the webinar part. I have the laptop over here, to the presenter's laptop, the decimator, and the projector. And basically what I did was obviously come out of the laptop into the decimator, and then out of the decimator into the projector. That's just an easy way to make sure that you're not affecting any of the in-house equipment, so you don't get in the way and break the projector. You kind of need to make sure that works too, and you don't want to affect that for anybody's viewing experience. Then in the middle here you can see the audio and the main camera, the web presenter, and my two screens. And everything connects like this. It came out of the decimator and into the SDI in of the web presenter. And then I came out of the loop out SDI, and that went into the Blackmagic Video Assist, which was capturing the screen's feed, and I could just get that back up. Next up, I had my XA11 connected. The audio was just sitting on top of that and connected, as you can see there. And from that point, the XA11 had a HDMI output going right into the web presenter, which is really nice. I didn't have to do any conversion there. Next up, I had SDI program out coming out of the web presenter, and that went into the Ninja 5. You can see there, getting the main feed as a backup recording, or not even backup recording, but as the main edit of the show to deliver to the client. And then finally, over USB, I could come out of the web presenter into the MacBook Pro that was running Zoom, and that meant that anyone who wanted to watch the webinar could easily just tune into the Zoom. They were all sent links to that, and then they could watch and hear what was being said because the audio was coming into the web presenter via the XA11 as well. I wanted to show off this setup because it is simple, but it's just a different way of using the same kind of gear that I use for other gigs in a slightly narrowed down and simpler setup. I think that sometimes I can try and get a little bit too, not complicated, but over the top with the gear on this channel, where I want to show ATEM with as many inputs and outputs as possible. So I wanted to just make it a bit simpler and show that even a little meetup, you can bring a few bits and pieces. Now, obviously I'm bringing extra screens and extra bits and pieces for my setup, but you can bring a few things and really make something good and make a 2-source or maybe a 2-camera or a camera and a presenter's laptop, and you can stream it to a webinar, or in this case I could have streamed it to YouTube or whatever as well. If you found this video useful or this channel useful, please do consider checking out our Patreon, where we have rewards and offers for patrons. And let me know in the comments of this video if you have any questions or thoughts or wonders about the equipment I use in this video. Hopefully I've made it clear, but maybe there was a cable or two that I forgot to mention, or maybe you're thinking about doing something like this yourself and you need some help. Just let me know.